Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Juggernaut, and these will be my first impressions of Redout. Redout is a racing game, and in as few words as possible, it is a traditional, old-style racing game where you are a hovercraft, or a hover ship, or whatever. I don't know technically the term used for these things, but you are this vessel, and you race other people in various different modes, whether a traditional race, time attack, stuff like that. It is an incredibly difficult game with a huge skill ceiling, but yet is incredibly entertaining even for those of us that utterly suck at this game. So, you've probably heard about this game actually, namely because several major YouTubers have played it and are fascinated almost, I would say, by how good this game is, and genuinely surprised, and I myself, among them as well. I am very, very impressed by how good this game is, and it sort of came out of nowhere for me, so, yeah, let's get into it. First of all, I showed you really quickly there the options menu. Let me do that again. No complaints from me, decent, in fact, for games of this type, even more than decent options menu. Video-wise, keys, controller schemes, great. There's nothing really, I can't really point out anything that's wrong with this options menu. Measurement system, resolution quality, I don't quite understand what this is. I mean, you can see what it is, but I don't quite know why that's there. And it's one of those options I don't quite precisely know what they mean by resolution quality, but I've nothing wrong to say, which is rare that, an option screen has absolutely nothing wrong with it. Right, so, this is where we choose our ships. There are several classes of ships, and then later upgrades for these. We can't touch the upgrades yet as we're utter noobs, but as you can see, they all have their different characteristics and all play and feel differently. I've gone for the Kareen. I've no idea what the first three words and how they're supposed to be pronounced. I mean, that's Ag Racing, right? Sulha, Ag Racing? Yeah, Sulha, Ag Racing. Kareen, as I was saying. And it's a tough-to-control ship, or at least that's what the AI of this game tells me, or the whatever its name is. So let's get into a race, and I'll show you exactly what it's like. Word of warning in advance, I utterly suck at this game. However, it is, I think, a interesting perspective in and of its own, because even as someone that I wasn't able to finish first yet. Okay, I think the best I got was like 4th or 3rd or something like that. I wasn't able to finish first yet. Actually, 3rd is the best I've gotten. So, there I am trailing behind the pack in 6th place, and I'm having immense fun with this thing. The sense of speed that you get, the way your hovercraft, or hovercrafts I suppose, feel, and the way they maneuver, and the way they actually move, and the way you control them is fascinating and so satisfying. My apologies, I had to restart the race really quickly because the frame rate on Fraps, the way I had to set it up, was not actually that great, so I've increased the quality and all that in Fraps, hopefully to get a better performance out of the game and a better video out of it as would Jesus. That is a horrible start to this race. Yep. You can slow down in this game, which I find a kind of a conundrum, even. You can slow down in this game. There are brakes. However, you're encouraged not to use them. In fact, strongly encouraged that the brakes are a creation of the devil himself, and that they should never be touched. And that it is entirely possible, and no, not even possible, it is desirable that you finish the race without ever touching the brakes and just slamming on that boost button, which I find rather, like I said, peculiar and fascinating. But there I am in my natural environment, behind the pack, as it were, in 6th place. With, get used to that. As I said, I utterly suck at this game. I'll give it a couple more hours and I'll talk to you then, and we'll see how good or bad I am at it. But for now, I'm utter garbage at this game. Problem being, however, sorry, not problem being. Quite the opposite of a problem. The beauty of it being, though, I've played this for about, what, an hour and a half, and I show no signs of getting bored or stopping. This is, I will go so far as saying, the most satisfying and fun, just genuinely fun game of a racing game that I've ever played, probably. Thinking back to the old days of the old Need for Speeds and you know, the really old traditional racing games, and this well, it brings me back to those games, but in a very different setting, both visually and in every other way, shape, and form. So, you know what? Yes, I won't go that far so as to say that this is probably the most fun racing game I've ever laid my hands on, despite finishing. Oh, actually, I haven't finished yet, have I?
Finish.
Yes, I have. I'm sorry. Yeah, despite finishing 6th, nearly went ahead there in the finish, but unfortunately crashed. Let's try that again and see if we can't do any better. But this is basically it. There's several different modes you can play, and I can't recommend this game enough. Simply due to the fact that the sense of speed that you get and the sense of satisfaction when you hit that accelerate button, when you turn this thing, it feels like you're turning, you know, not a car with its wheels removed, but an actual hoverboard? I wish. Hovercraft or ship or whatever. I don't quite know the nomenclature for this, but yeah, it feels amazing. So I can't recommend this thing enough, and even though I utterly suck at it, I suppose you're gonna have to take my word for it that it is indeed possible to finish first, miles ahead of these guys. It's just that you need to be good enough, which I most certainly am not. But my compliments to the AI as well. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I dare not touch the AI. I dare not touch the multiplayer because I know how competitive people are going to get about this, and I have no chance in hell over there if I can't beat the basic AI in the first few, like the first hour or so of the game. But sorry, I need to focus on turning. Okay, that wasn't that bad. I'm not 6th anymore. I think there's a particular segment of this race where I can make up all the difference and get in front of the pact. Oh, the pack, sorry, not the pact. Pact is an entirely different political thing. Get out of the way! Speed demon approaching and all that. Am I first? I'm actually 2nd. Well, I was 2nd there for a second. Hey! Puns, and he just crashed into me. Okay, thank you. Really appreciate it. Yes, what was where was this train of thought leading me? I believe I've completely lost track of what I was saying. That is annoying as all hell. Oh yeah, my compliments to the AI as well, because they're surprisingly competent. Here's my criticism of most games that do racing, and specifically racing against AI. There's 4 or 5 opponents. One of them is 1st, the other is 2nd, one of them is 3rd, you know, one of them is 4th. Yeah, they all have their positions. They rarely, in most games, practically never compete against each other. The guy up front will always be in front. Maybe he'll fall to 2nd for, you know, a brief period of time and then charge out ahead again and be 1st. You're fighting against a set of opponents. One always sucks, the other one's always bad. It's like a difficulty scale on the track itself. This game doesn't really have that. I haven't noticed, at least, that one of these races is particularly dominating all the others. It's actually a very close fight between, well, all of us, myself included. I managed to overtake a few of them every now and again, right? So we're always sort of near the #1 position and near each other. There's never more than a second or two of difference between each other, and yes, sometimes that is a huge difference indeed, sometimes it is not, but you know, regardless of this fact, it's always a very close race, and there's always very, you know, action-filled, adrenaline pump. There's all those sorts of mini little battles that you do against the guy in front of you, and the guy behind you tries to take you over, and when you sort of, you know, when you screw up like that, basically. I've really apologised for the complete and utter lack of quality gameplay in this, but I'm trying. It's just, the thing is, it's difficult to focus on what you're trying to say and race. I promise I finished third once. Was it luck? Possibly. Also, you know, frapsing this doesn't do wonders for the performance, frame rate, and the response time of everything. There we go. I think I'm getting the hang of it somewhat. That guy just blasted off in front of me despite us being in practically the same position. Come on. Come on. No, you touch the wall, all your momentum is dead. Well, not all of it, but certainly feels like all of it. I don't quite know why, in that particular situation, I get slowed down so much. I mean, is there a button I should be pressing or something? I don't know. Anyways, this is practically the game. Go out and play it. It's amazing. I love it, and I think you will too, regardless of whether you're a hardcore fan of racing games or not. Because, well, I'm not. You know, I'm not a huge racing games type of person. My favourite genres are very different from racing games, and yet I've had immense fun with this. Let's actually try out a different event and see what else we have. So there's pure race and pure time attack. These are all class 1s. Let's try a race against the clock. I think that's going to be a bit I feel less pressured in doing that, so there is that. What I would like, however, as we load in, let me just check to make sure that it... Actually, give me a second and I'll check to make sure that I can't actually turn it on in the options menu.
3, 2, 1...
No, I can't. I can't turn it on in the options menu. Smooth editing, eh? I can't turn it off in the options menu. Turn it on, sorry, in the options menu. I would like basically a speedometer. I'd like to see how quickly I'm going in terms of kilometers per hour, and just how much momentum I lose in the when doing that, when failing utterly and touching the wall. That is what I would like to know, if at all possible. Thank you. Yes, what I guess, you know, towards the end of the video, now that I've praised the game so much, I guess I could point out a few things I would like to see more of, bearing in mind this is, of course, first impressions, and maybe you get a lot more of this in the later stages of the game. I would... God, it's horrible. Yeah, sorry, frapsing this at, like, 20 FPS is not exactly the ideal thing to be doing, but, yeah, I would like to see more of that. And I'm guessing that later down... Oh god, that is a disaster. I'm guessing that later on in the more advanced, more difficult races, you do get that verticality a lot more often, right? You get to jump a lot more often, you get to... I don't know, do all sorts of crazy stuff like that, rather than just racing down, you know, or basically turning left and right. There's also, you saw in the previous race, there is a moment where you sort of flip upside down and then drive on that, you know, technically drive right for hovercraft, but yeah, you get the point. I would love to see a bit more of that, and I think, you know, from the evidence here before me, again, this is not a review, this is a first impressions video, and from my first impressions, it seems to me like you get more of that later down the line, which is great, and I have nothing but praise for this game. For what it is, a very difficult, very... oh, that is dreadful. A very difficult, very fun, very challenging and very fun racing game.
Final lap.
I am immensely impressed. So, yeah, I'm not going to be getting any medals on this particular run, though it is the first time I've tried playing on this particular track. Anyways, also the frame rate is getting shot to hell. In the next few days I will be getting a new PC, so videos like these won't happen anymore. I don't mean first impression videos. I mean videos where the frame rate goes to shit. It's gonna get a completely new rig, and we're gonna manage a absurdly high average of frames per second at all times, and never have dips like this. It only happens when crap's in the game, so sorry about that. But anyways, this is a great game. I wanted to tell you about it. I wanted to share my impressions of it with you, and tell you to go play it. Just go play it right now. It's actually amazing. Yeah. Anyways, my name is Juggernaut. Please remember to like and subscribe down below if you enjoyed this video. It helps the channel out, and well, I'll love you forever if you do it, or something. I don't know. People use all sorts of phrases to entice people to do it. It's nothing new. I'm sure you've heard it all before. Anyways, all that said, thank you very much for watching once more, and until next time, take care, and bye-bye.